Capital murder suspects who killed a father and daughter in Fort.
A 30-year-old man and his 5-year-old daughter were murdered at a
5-year-old girl and her father gunned down in cold blood. But was this just another random act of violence? Or is there a much deeper, twisted reason behind it? On March 3, 2025, a horrific act of violence shook the Fort Worth suburb of Forest Hill, Texas. A father and his 5-year-old daughter were gunned down at a car wash, in broad daylight. But what led to this senseless tragedy? Why did this family, a simple man and his little girl, become the target of such violence? Stay tuned, because we're diving deep into the shocking truth behind the deaths of Lil Ronnie and his daughter. At just 30 years old, Chucky Smith, better known as the Texas rapper Lil Ronnie, was making a name for himself in the music world. But when it came to family, there was nothing more important than his 5-year-old daughter. On the morning of March 3, 2025, the father and daughter were at a local car wash when their lives were tragically cut short. A routine day for a loving father and his daughter turned into a nightmare when two gunmen approached Ronnie's car, opening fire without hesitation. This wasn't just a shooting. It was a cold, calculated act that left a community in mourning and raised countless questions. At 10:49 a.m., Forest Hill police responded to reports of a shooting at a car wash on Forest Hill Drive. When they arrived, the scene was devastating. Chucky Smith, also known as Lil Ronnie, was found lying on the ground, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. His 5-year-old daughter, MIA, was also discovered in the backseat of the vehicle, shot and critically injured. Though first responders performed life-saving measures, it was too late. Both father and daughter were pronounced dead at the scene. What could have led to such a brutal attack? The investigation quickly revealed chilling details. Surveillance footage showed the two gunmen dressed in blue jeans and gray sweaters approaching the vehicle on foot. As Ronnie tried to flee, the shooters chased him across the parking lot, firing at him repeatedly, even standing over him to finish the job. The second shooter likely fired from behind the dumpster off camera. No one should ever have to live through this, especially not a child. What would drive someone to target a family like this? Was this random, or was there a deeper motive? Days later, the shooters were identified as 24-year-old Adonis Robinson and 21-year-old Jacoby Russell. Robinson, a convicted sex offender, had been released from prison just months earlier. Russell had a history of violent crimes, including assault and unlawful weapon possession. Both men had been allowed to remain free despite their criminal backgrounds. Had the justice system acted sooner, both of these men would have been behind bars and unable to cause such devastation. But now, we're left to wonder, how many more lives have to be ruined before something changes? As the investigation unfolds, we're left asking, how did the system fail? Both Robinson and Russell had histories of violence, yet they were free to continue their destructive paths. One man had been convicted of sexual assault, another for assaulting a pregnant woman. But instead of serving time, they were given second chances, which ultimately led to this tragedy. 3 days after the shooting, Robinson was arrested in Livingston, Texas, and Russell was taken into custody shortly after. Both men now face capital murder charges, and under Texas law, they could be sentenced to death for their crimes. This tragedy is a stark reminder of the violence that so often surrounds the hip-hop community. Rappers, producers, even fans, all find themselves constantly at risk. But what about the innocent lives caught in the crossfire? What about the 5-year-old girl who never stood a chance? Mia's life was stolen before she could even begin to understand the world. And what does it say about a society where violence is normalized to this degree? A young father, a young daughter, both victims of a culture that too often glorifies violence. As we continue to process the pain and loss, one thing remains clear: this could have been prevented. If the justice system had worked, if those men were locked up when they should have been, MIA and Ronnie would still be here today. For Ronnie, his daughter was his world. For MIA, her daddy was everything. Now, both are gone, taken in a senseless act of violence. Rest in peace to Ronnie and MIA. Our hearts are with their family and all who loved them. If you want to support the family, the GoFundMe link is in the comments below. Please, help keep their memory alive. Let's demand accountability. Thank you for watching, and remember, we must do better.